Good morning. My name is Al Rosenblum. I'm a pastor, a teacher, counselor. I want to share with you some wisdom for Christian living. We're all born spiritually dead. If you're a Christian, you understand that you're born with a sin nature, a tendency to move away from God rather than toward God, to handle things yourself rather than trust Him. Well, we live in the devil's world, which is a very difficult place, and there's always, it's a place of evil, it's a place of sin, it's a place of difficulty. Every one of us who lives in the devil's world, all of us, is going to experience, you're guaranteed to experience certain things. First of all, you're going to experience unfulfilled needs and desires. Many of the things that you feel like you need, that's just a longing and a yearning in your heart, in your body even, that you're going to have times when that's not fulfilled. There are going to be things that you want in your life, a good marriage or healthy children, that you may not get. I mean, all of us go through a life. Now, no parent is perfect. When you're little kids, every parent fails. Every parent is late bringing, what you need. And when this happens, you have this feeling of unfulfilled need and desire. Secondly, some measure of deprivation, neglect, or even abuse is going to happen in your life. You get deprived, it's time to eat. You're a little kid, it's time to eat, and your parents are distracted. Your parents are busy, your parents are working. They're not concerned about you at this moment. So, you go without what you need, just like the unfulfilled needs and desires. And secondly, you get neglected. I mean, they forget about you. They send you out to take care of yourself, and you feel neglected. And there are many absent parents. America is a place since the 1950s where divorce has been around 50%. So half of the children that are born into these homes grow up in one parent homes. They grow up and get married and do the same types of patterns that their parents did, and they end up in one parent homes. And on it goes. So the cycle has created a lot of really hurting, messed up, confused adults in marriages that are very unhappy for the children, and are very difficult to live with. I think you know what I'm talking about. This is the average person, the average marriage today. The average kid comes out, he's confused, he doesn't know which way to turn. He's all materialistic. He's lost any connection to real values because the world doesn't teach that anymore. Even the schools don't teach that. They teach crazy things. So, and then some people even get abused. Maybe you have a parent who's a pathological narcissist who is unable to love, is only able to take for themselves. They only are concerned with themselves, and they're sick people. They're not necessarily mean and evil people. They can act that way, but they're desperate people. And so parents are desperate, and parents are hurting, parents are confused and mentally ill and messed up themselves. And so we get abused as kids. I know, as a counselor, I've talked to hundreds and hundreds of people who've gone through very difficult childhoods that are just trying to make it today. And some of you say, well, that was then, this is now. No, it doesn't work that way. Back then, what you built into your heart, into your soul, is the foundation for what you're living out today. That's why that's important. Not to go back and moan about it and complain about it and blame other people. That's not the point at all. The point is to understand what you believed out of those experiences that is still inside of you, on which you're basing many of your views and your habits of thinking and feeling today. So that's the importance as counselors, for you to look at those things. So thirdly, most of us feel disappointed about our lives, about our relationships, about ourselves. At times I feel like I should have done much more with my life. Very bright, capable, have a decent temperament, and I allowed many of my opportunities to go astray. I squandered them with self-indulgence, uh, bad decisions, fearful decisions, afraid to move and take a chance when that would have been the right thing to do. Many of us have these feelings and thoughts about our life and our relationships. We all thought these relationships in our life, our wife or our husband was going to be this wonderful thing. And we turn out to discover that it's just a difficult thing to go through. And I'm a married man and I love my wife and she loves me, but we struggle in our relationship because we're very different. And but the Lord allows us to make this thing work in a satisfying and wonderful way with each other. And so we struggle with things in our life, and many of us are disappointed about how we've turned out. Now, this is just standard stuff. I'm not describing something that's unusual. If you have any discernment at all about yourself and your life, you recognize what I'm saying. You're born without God. You have this desperate need for not only God, but for people in an appropriate way, but mostly for God. But you can't get to God because you're separated spiritually. Until you trust in Christ, you can't get to God. So you turn to people, and people are flawed. People fail you. People neglect you. They deprive you. They abuse you. And this is just the story of the human race since Adam sinned in the garden. That's all of us. Now, we all react to this in at least two ways. We are defensive. We have a defense system that's built in, it's instinctive. We numb our emotions when we're into a situation that hurts so much and we don't know how to fix it or resolve it. We just go numb. We just stop feeling. We build walls between us and other people. We open our heart to someone and we trust them and we attach to them and we try to love them and want to be loved back, and they hurt us. They reject us. They betray us. They leave us. They abandon us. And our heart is just hurting. Well, from that, we numb our feelings and we build walls. We say, can't let that, it's what I call a NAP, a never again policy. I can't ever let that happen again. That was too hurtful. That would kill me. Of course, it's not true. You will do it again. You will let someone in again, hopefully, because open heart is God's plan. But so we go defensive. We try to suppress our desires. People who want things that can't get what they want in the plan of God, it's because you're wanting things that God's not wanting for you. You have to change what you want. You don't just give up on wanting, but people they don't understand how God has designed us to let go of wanting this thing that's not bad, that's not good for me, to attaching what I want to God, to start to want God. He says, he whose desire is stayed on me will get the desires of his heart. Well, if he's the desire, you're going to get him. It's not a promise to give you all the things that you want in life. So we go defensive. We suppress desire rather than attaching desire to God. Secondly, we go offensive. We construct an outward image, a person, personality traits, behaviors, habits of behaving that we think other people will respect, will enjoy, will want to be with. So will admire us. We try to find a way to create a persona, a way of being that other people will enjoy and want to be with. Because we want to be wanted. That's a normal thing. That's a good thing. The truth of the matter is that God wants us for all eternity. His want for us is going to be the real issue. And truthfully, it's the real issue now. But because we're born without him, we grow up without him, attached to people in the world, we build all of our wants. We attach our want and our beliefs about what will fulfill our need and want to things on the earth, to things in the world. to people, situations, success, money, fame, freedom, ease of living. All those things are the ideas that we hold, that we say, if I had that, if I could only get that, you know, young girls say, if I only had Prince Charming, if I only had this wonderful man that loved me and cared for me and was kind to me, I would be so happy. That's not true. It's not true at all. Marriage is not about happiness, believe it or not. I know that's going to disillusion some of you and you're going to turn it off at this point. Marriage is about building virtue. Marriage is the greatest. To make marriage work right, you have to sacrifice all of yourself. And you don't do it all at once. You do it a little at a time so that you meet in the middle with your mate and create this compromise that you both can live with. So this is wisdom for living. These are just some basic ideas I wanted to share. If you go to arministry.net, arministry.net, you can subscribe. I've got a lot of other videos. I got some longer ones that are really, really in-depth discussions about human behavior and why we want what we want, how that came to be, why we believe what we believe, and what to do about changing it. Why do we act and relate to others the way we do? We built and developed all that as we were growing up. Because we didn't have God, even if you say, well, I was saved when I was young. Yeah, but when did you really start listening to God? You listened to your friends and you went to school and you tried to fit in there in the world. So you built all these worldly ideas, okay? And those have to be removed and replaced. So if you're interested in that, go to arministry.net and subscribe, and there will be more of these videos in the future. Thank you very much.